There's nothing like a free Friday to set off a stampede of visitors to the Franklin Park Zoo, but over the past few months, attendance has been on the upswing, and part of the reason could be some of the new programs. To bring us up to date is the Executive Vice President of External Affairs and Programming for Zoo New England, Cynthia Mead. Thank you very much for being with us, Cynthia.
Thank you, Chris. Pleasure to be here.
Friday wasn't exactly a record breaker, but you were pretty busy. What was it like?
Oh, we were very pleased with the attendance. We had 18,509 people come to celebrate the Highland Street Free Fun Friday. So it was a great day. The weather was really just perfect. And we really enjoyed all of the folks who came and visited, saw the zoo, saw our animals, participated in the events that were happening that day.
Now, that kind of a Free Friday might be just once a year, but you have other ways of making this zoo visit affordable, people.
We do. I mean, affordability is critically important to us. We want to make sure that everyone has access. So what we have done is we've instituted several different types of programs. One is called our EBT program, and those individuals who really have a financial barrier can use their EBT card, their electronic benefit card, or their WIC card to come to the zoo and pay $4 per person up to 4 people. So it makes it affordable. For those people who don't have that, yet still find price can be a barrier, we have library pass programs. So you can go to the library, take out the pass, and have a dramatically reduced admission price. And then during our, in the fall, we might have some half price days. And in the winter time where, we don't have quite as many animals out, we drop the the admission accordingly.
Because one of the main reasons people go to the zoos is to look at the animals, to hear them. It's different from looking at a picture or even looking at a video. I mean, describe it. I mean, if you're in the zoo, you hear the lion roaring. What's that like?
Well, it's pretty remarkable. And after all the years I've been at the zoo, I still find it incredible to be at the front gate and be able to hear the lions roaring. And that's one of the things we talk to our guests about, really. We have educational interpreters and staff who go out and talk about our animals. But the reason you can hear that roar so far away is that is a mechanism that male lions use to protect their territory. So the stronger they are, the louder that they can project their roar, which tells other males in the area not to come close. And as they get older and weaker, their territory shrinks, and then ultimately you have another male lion who will come in and try and take over the pride that's there, that it's existing. So it's really quite incredible. And one of the things that we feel is again critical to our success as a conservation organization is ensuring that guests get the opportunity to really see and appreciate the animals. Because you're right, it's not the same thing looking on TV or reading a book, or even on the web. There are exciting videos, but they can't really bring home the feeling that you get when you look into the eye of a lion and see its size compared to your size. Look at its paws, look at its teeth, and learn more about how we take care of these animals and the conservation programs we have.
The other thing, when you see, and I think this is especially the case with the gorillas, I'm seeing social and family structures, and I feel they're looking at me as much as I'm looking at them.
They are. Sometimes human beings are enrichment for the gorillas. And it's true. The gorillas love children. They tend to interact, especially the little gorillas. The younger gorillas love to see children that are about their size. And, the different clothes you wear, the different bags you're carrying, they have a natural curiosity about it. So, they get as much enjoyment out of being able to see individuals as we get the enjoyment out of seeing them, really.
And even tigers, I mean, you're not just seeing the colors and the stripes. There's something about the behavior, even in captivity.
Well, we work a lot with our animals to make sure that they're getting a lot of fulfillment in their day-to-day lives. So we have a whole series of enrichment schedule. And what that means is we take a look at each individual species and we understand what type of activities they would normally be doing for their species. And then we try and incorporate that either into exhibit design or into the little activities that we have for them. Now, we never go in with them, but we certainly give them a lot of enrichment.
And speaking of enrichment and big cats, you have a Lion Day coming up pretty soon, right?
We do. I mean, the lion population has really been cut in half in not all that many years. I mean, it's really striking that they're losing lions to habitat loss, some disease, hunting, but again, their lands are shrinking, and so the populations have really been cut. So we're celebrating World Lion Day, which is on the 10th, this coming Saturday. And what it will do is it'll provide an opportunity for our guests to get an even more in-depth glimpse into the life of our lions and what's happening with lion conservation in the wild. So we'll have arts and crafts and more interpreters at the exhibit talking about the lions, talking about the conservation.
This is BNN News. We're talking with Cynthia Mead from Zoo New England. Another attraction, this is a new one, I guess something about big bugs.
Wicked big bugs. They are animatronic, larger than life bugs, taller than I am, that have been brought to the zoo for this season, so they'll leave on Labor Day. And it's an opportunity for our guests to come in, take a look at these giant critters, and really get a different perspective of them. You can see, the different structures in their bodies and learn about what bugs and insects, and we have some arachnoids do as well. And then we have somebody in the exhibit who will have some live bugs, different opportunities to see. We have some walking sticks and some scorpions. They're all contained in a glass enclosure, so nobody needs to worry about coming into contact with them.
It seems you're not just having us come in there to look and figure things out on our own. You have some things like encounters and chats. How do those work?
Well, what we do is there's a number of different ways they work, but often we'll have somebody at an exhibit with some biofacts. So it might be a pelt from an animal, it might be a replica of a skull, or some other interesting, what we call biofacts. And the person will talk about those, talk about the animals, give some information about the specific animal that's in the exhibit, but also talk about the animal's history and what's happening with them, as well as conservation issues.
Now, and I imagine young people growing up, they're going to be learning about the environment when they're in the classroom. Why is it so important to be at a zoo and get some of that information?
I'm so glad you asked. It's really important to come to the zoo so you can get that first-hand glimpse of the animal that we're talking about and meet the interpreter at the exhibit, be able to ask the questions that you have, because we feel it is critically important to build a connection between individuals and the animals that we seek to save. And many of the animals we seek to save have real human recourse if they were to disappear. Bats help bug control. Frogs help bug control. We have many different species in which really perform what I would call almost a human benefit job. And those are critical to us, especially if you take one animal out of an ecosystem, others will fill in. And you can imagine what it would be like to be run over by any particular population that isn't really comfortable to live with and isn't pleasant to live with. So the other thing is pollination. Our food supply depends so much on bees and birds, other insects, bats, being able to pollinate. And they can do a better job than humans can at any time. So to begin to see an animal up close, figure out what that little piece of magic is really about, and then understand, oh yeah, it is worth saving. It is worth maybe not squishing the bee or the bug, or maybe not using pesticides in your lawn. Those types of things. That's the only way we're really going to prevent a real loss of biodiversity.
Of course, another reason to go to the zoo is that you see some things you never knew existed. I would never have known there was such a thing as a red panda until I saw one at your zoo.
The Franklin Park Zoo has red pandas, and they're adorable. And you're right, zoos contain a lot of animals that one wouldn't necessarily, they're not on the top 10 list that people hear about. We have pottos in the tropical forest, which are a primate with these gigantic eyes and are really nocturnal. And then, believe it or not, the we have butterfly landing. You know, the diversity of the colors of the butterflies are really incredible. So while you know that there's butterflies, you probably don't realize how many different species there are of butterflies. It's fascinating.
And I was going to say almost as many as there are craft beers, because you got an event that has to do with craft beers in the zoo.
Brew at
right?
the Zoo, August 17th. It's from 5 to 9 p.m. And we're very excited. This is, we've been doing this for several years. It really is a big success, and it's an important fundraiser for the zoo. So at Franklin Park Zoo, and we have 48 breweries and over 100 beer or ciders to taste. Obviously, you can't taste them all in one evening. And we have food as well. And we also are committed to getting people safely to their homes. So we have a bus service running from Forest Hill Park to the zoo that they can take to enjoy their evening.
And I know you get tons of detail on the website, so where should people look?
They should go to www.zoonewengland, all one word, .org.
Thank you very much for being with us.
My pleasure.
Cynthia Mead from Zoo New England.